Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and another fast week. We are here. It's Friday, and hopefully you guys have had an excellent week. Things for me, as far as sales, have been really good, except yesterday. Well, really yesterday afternoon into today. It's like we were getting great sales, and then all of a sudden, just kind of crickets. It is what it is on that, and we're just going to have to keep plugging away and pushing forward. And the fact is also that I'm running low on sourcing right now, so I'm just going to make do with some of the stuff that I have sitting around that I haven't really gotten to, and get that stuff listed. And hopefully with the few yard sales I can hit tomorrow, and where I normally source, I can pick up some stuff here for the next few weeks. For me, it's scramble mode, working my butt off for the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks, and then just kind of chill, because I know that most people, at least who are buying gifts and all that for the holidays, it's going to come to a standstill. Then it'll pick up again after Christmas into the new year. So that's kind of my plan. And also I'm working on getting that other store, that secondary store, sort of transition. I'm lotting things up. I'm getting things, trying to get them out. So a lot of the LPs and albums we're getting into different genres, and that way we can sell like lots of like 40 or 50 at a time. Just get them the heck out of here. So checking that out, and seems to be some comps on that. So it should be relatively a quick process to get those done and get them out of here. So the conversation for the day is sort of piggybacking off of the conversation that we had throughout the week regarding BBE. That's the eBay Bad Buyer Experience Policy. Now, the confusion, and if you watch my videos, you saw the confusion that I went through. But finding out that this is an international seller who sells in the U.S., eBay.com, who competes against you and I, these folks are the ones that are being considered for this, or actually being affected by this. And more specifically, in eBay, for whatever reason, won't come out and say it, but apparently it's for the Southeast Asia sellers that sell on eBay.com, which nowhere in their policy does it say specifically which international person. It doesn't really even, it's clear as mud when it comes to really whether it's international or domestic, which is why I went through that whole back and forth trying to figure out exactly who it affected. And as a result, I had to give a follow-up video to kind of explain what happened. So again, my apologies on that one. But one thing that, we discussed this in the podcast that's coming out tomorrow, so I don't want to spoil a whole lot of the conversation. But I think that looking at eBay and what they're doing here with BBE, even though it doesn't affect most of us here in the United States, or those of us in the United States, it tells a lot. It's really telling as far as what eBay's intentions are. And I think for many, and the way I feel is this is a long time coming. A lot of people over the years have complained about these sellers who sell, they get a super cheap discount on shipping, right? You and I are competing against that in some categories, not in all. And for those of us who are competing against those sellers, they can go really, really low with low shipping. And because they're overseas, they can say, 2 to 3 weeks handling time. And even though it's in the listing, a lot of people don't read. You guys know that. A lot of buyers don't read. And people are simply unaware that... You all right?
Yep.
Okay. People are unaware that it's taken that long, and they file item not received cases like crazy. And of course, it's not the seller's fault. They put that information in there, but it's not really living up to the buying experience that eBay wants for their platform. So I can see this really weeding out a lot of those sellers who are going to get one strike, one negative, one neutral, one item not received, when item not as described is counted as a strike, for lack of a better term, I forgot the terminology. And then guess what? Those sellers are then removed from the platform, and these are people that we no longer have to compete with. And of course, there still will be some that will make it work for them. They'll work around the rules, or they'll make it work for themselves. But I think this is a complaint that a lot of people have had. Now, as far as going further than that, eBay is trying to keep as many buyers and create as good of a buying experience as possible on the platform. And I can see that if they keep having a mass exodus from the site, I can see them sort of going after sellers with similar policies, because we do have a lot of sellers here in the US that don't live up to eBay's expectations either. So I'll kind of just leave it at that, just to get the conversation started. But hopefully you guys are doing a little bit better than me today in sales. Let's find out who we have with us today. We have Brian H. And of course, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to change the color, because I use this as I'm a little anal about this kind of stuff. I don't want to mix up the brands here. Oh, well, it's a different meaning, man. So Brian H says, hello, John, Jenna, and everyone. Thanks for being here. And then we have Kevin Hawthorne. How you doing, Kevin, from Lakeland, Florida? Mike Camparelli says, hi, John and Jenna and family. How you doing, Mike? Sales very weird this week. 25 out the door Monday and Tuesday, and then flat the rest of the week.
We get it.
Now, I got to say, I didn't expect, like Saturday and Sunday this week being all that great. Black Friday, then all those sales like on Amazon and other sites kind of continue on into Monday.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday. But my Monday was decent, $491. I had a $75 day on Sunday. Went to $491. Then Tuesday, $627. Wednesday, $461. I'm happy with those numbers. That's where I want to be. And then woke up Thursday morning, had a few sales, and then it's like crickets. $125 in the morning, and then nothing the rest of the day. That carried over till today. No sales at all. And we had one package, first time in a long time, one package for both accounts that went out in the mail. So is Q4 becoming the new summer? It kind of feels that way, because
maybe for us, just for what we sell, because we sell needs, not wants.
Yeah, a lot of needs over, but we do have some wants. I mean, people. On your account, we've got a bunch of lotted up cars and motorcycle replicas. We've got LPs that we are removing as we make lots. We're removing it from her account, and her account's doing a little bit better than normal the last, I'd say, month and a half. It's the type of item that people would be buying this time of year. On my account, again, we talk about toilet seats. We talk about all kinds of different just randomness. And that's kind of not what people are focused on. I think people, of course, do focus on wants this time of year, because they want to buy stuff for gifts for family and friends, and sometimes even for themselves, like me. This weekend, we bought some things for ourselves for the house to kind of take advantage of the sales. But
amping up security around here.
That's right. Got some camera systems, got some Echo 5s throughout the house to notify us when people are at the door. Got the doorbell cam, and I have a spotlight coming tomorrow that kind of hooks as a spotlight cam that turns on when there's activity and records it all. So just something I've been wanting to do for a while, and prices were right, and we took advantage of it. So but nice to see you, Mike. Hopefully you're back from your little vacation, and
I really enjoyed those pictures.
Yeah, envious. Definitely envious.
I want to go there now.
But I hope you had a good time, Mike.
Yeah.
We got Belle Resell says, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. And Gail Carlson says, hello, John, Jen, and family. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yes.
Let's hope that. It's the 1st of December, last month of not only the quarter but the year, and just wanted to kind of grind through it, get through this month, and make really, of course, as much as we can in the process. Bobby Usher, thanks for being here. Hello from Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas.
Awesome. Nice to see you. 5-figure eBay sellers is good flipping day from Pensacola, Florida.
Love it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Mike says, even though the new BBE policy may not be for U.S. sellers just yet, it's a good drill nonetheless. It's never too early to practice solid seller practices.
Amen to that, Mike.
And to those who are worried about having something like that implemented on eBay US for eBay US sellers, and really around the world for your platform, you shouldn't have to worry about the things that eBay is implementing as long as you're practicing the right things. You're describing your item accurately. You're taking really good photos, multiple photos, right? Maybe getting your item specifics in there, using an item description. I think a lot of people avoid using an item description. To describe the item, take a little longer when you're listing your items. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because they want to get as many listed, as they can. But this is where eBay is going. They want to avoid negative buyer experiences across the platform, and they're just starting to deal with a big problem. You got your overseas drop shippers and or the folks that are sending these what people would call cheap goods across to the United States, and people are filing INADs because they're not the quality that they were expecting, getting there much later, no communication, just a lot of things that I think we need as a whole, the sellers who want to survive need to do better at. And we have Danielle Lesage from Baton Rouge says, hi, J&J FAE family. Happy December. Let's see. Isn't St. Jude the one to pray to for hopeless cases? Well, I don't know a whole lot about that, but hopefully things are going well with you. Joe Samard. What?
His next comment is probably why.
Oh, no sales in a week?
Yeah.
Well, don't know what to say about that. Haven't had a sale in a full day now. So it's not anything I'm going to be alarmed. It's just going to make me actually push that much harder on myself. And
it's weird because I got a sale on my account and you've had none.
I've had none. So
it's just a weird year. It's a weird year.
Even that said, we're still doing better this year, Q4, than we did last year.
Oh.
We didn't. Last year was so bad.
Oh my God, I hated last year.
Joe Samard says, good afternoon, FAE group. Yes, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of it. We have Henri Squaw says, howdy, John and Jenna. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
A rockin' yard sale. Hopefully I find some of those tomorrow. Says, wow, I made it on time. Awesome. And then says, eBay search has been down for 14 hours now. They said not for everybody, but it sure has been for me. Well, that explains something, doesn't it? Seems the update crashed a lot of people.
Oh.
Now, I'm not aware of an update, so this is the first I'm hearing of it, but it would explain, if you go in and do a simple search. I was talking to Josh about this. We were on our PCs and we're just going in and just a simple search for like an iPhone 15 Pro Max. And if you go in and do a search for an iPhone 15 Pro Max, this is on the PC, I will get over 200,000 listings. If I then say, you know what, I'm getting a lot of cell phone cases and all that, but let me just sort by price plus shipping. So lowest first. If you sort that result by lowest first, you're going to get 233 of those results. At least that's what I just did, out of 200,000+ listings. Where's the other 199,000+ listings that were just here? All I did was sort it by price. Now, if I go back and sort that same result highest first, hopefully,
it comes up with 900.
Now it's 900,000+ listings, 700,000+ listings more.
Crud.
Yeah, 700,000 listings more than the initial best match search. Now, I don't know of any buyer who sorts by highest plus, but obviously that's just one example of where there's a problem here, and it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm sure you get different results for different types of items, but we're talking about the most popular one of the most popular items that you can search for, which is an iPhone and the most updated iPhone, and you're getting weird search results just for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's me knowing this by doing some experiments. 99% of your buyers aren't going to know to find more results or end up finding fewer results when they sort it by price. So that may be why a lot of people.
$35,000 for an iPhone?
It's an Apple iPhone
That's
15 Pro Max,
crazy.
1 terabyte Falcon, 150 grams, 18 karat gold with diamonds. And there's a video on it. I'm not going to go into it, but that's amazing. With 530
from
watchers.
Poland, my favorite country.
530 watchers. So Hustle and Grow says, what's up, John and Jenna? Now don't go challenging people tonight, John. You know no one wants to hear it. Well, there's lots of things to challenge. There's
John loves a challenge.
I like a challenge. I just think that sometimes I make mistakes too. Other people make mistakes. So it's just about trying to get the right answer. And I think like there's some people that are proclaiming that eBay did away with, anyone recall this a couple of years ago, where on promoted listings, you'd have your organic and you'd have your promoted listing sponsored. It says sponsored at the bottom of the listing. And eBay, when they launched promoted listings, that's the way it was for every listing that was promoted. That was kind of the advantage. You had 2 listings showing up within a single search. They did away with that, except when you sort the best match search, those items, at least for eBay US, will come up twice. And it's still happening. Now, checking the other platforms, I checked .co.uk, and I haven't checked Australia yet, but that doesn't happen when you sort the best match search on those platforms. So that might explain why a lot of organic sales are still happening, even though you might have it promoted, because the organic listing is coming up for the buyer first. And in many cases, that sponsored promoted listing is much lower in that very same search. So just trying to correct, that, hey, it's a glitch. I know it's a glitch. It's not intended. It's not what eBay wants to happen, but it's still happening. And of course, buyers don't know any better, and they're clicking on your organic listing. That's just one of the many things that I've disputed. But you know what? Believe what you want, but always do your homework, not only in the person that's showing you this. If they're selling 3 items a day, making $30, maybe $30 profit a day, proclaiming they know everything about anything that has to do with eBay, why aren't they using that information to do better for themselves? Maybe they're trying to make more on YouTube. Just something to consider.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, if they're making YouTube videos. Guide Guru says, hey, what is going on, everyone?
Hey.
Andy and Indiana in the house. How's all the FA family doing?
Andy and Indiana.
Yeah, if I had Indiana in the house, I'd have more than 152 people watching.
We might have 200.
Patricia, so what's up with search today? I would love to know, Patricia, if you can tell me, help me understand. I didn't know about a search outage for 14 hours, if that's the case.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, of course, I've been busy just trying to get as much of these items out of the secondary store into lots, so I haven't had time to do really any research today.
When I say I don't want to see another record
Yeah.
for a really long time, I mean it.
250 albums, and they're already listed in genres. Just she had to sort them out for me, and then I'm taking lots and putting them together, and just
I am officially. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make myself a shirt that says Frankenbox Queen, because I am the.
She's been doing that.
Queen.
We have 19 by 19 by, well, actually 18 by 18 by 18 boxes, and they work perfectly for albums. But of course, if you have a stack of albums like that, you're gonna have to cut that box down. And she's been doing that today. Guide Guru hasn't had any issues today when comping, and to me, I haven't noticed any the last few days when I'm comping for things I'm finding online. But that doesn't necessarily mean our buyers are having an easy time with it, you know. Patricia says, why do I go to print labels? Does eBay say I don't have any sold listings for the past 90 days?
Wow.
I am constantly taking
eBay is just another beast.
Yeah, I'm constantly taking screenshots of things that I see that eBay does, and I think to myself, okay, why am I doing this? Anyone opt into the promoted listings where they give you the $100. I believe that's the advanced promoted listings process where they give you $100 to work with. You have to spend $5 minimum a day. So simply what I did was, because I'm looking right now between now and I put it till the 20th of December, where I'm utilizing $5 a day, and I'm not going to come out of pocket. And I did that a few hours ago, and so far you can tell that it really hasn't made a difference. Haven't made a sale. So
it's working so good.
But yeah, if it's available to you, you know, they have it popped up on your seller hub once in a while. I did get an email from them saying, hey, are you going to use this? And I finally said, you know what, let's use it. As long as it's free, then hey, that's fine.
Why is everything, all the writing so big on your computer?
I'm getting old.
It's just,
well, I can make it smaller if you want. I mean, I can make it smaller if you want, if that's going to help you.
I mean, you act like you're 50 or something.
I kind of am. A Rockin' Yard Sale says it's been off and on. Called into tech. They told me it's not everyone, but then reports of listing and pick servers been off and on all day.
Wow.
And you know, I've said this before. This isn't the first Q4 where things have been screwed up. But when does it end? When does you don't hear, and maybe people just don't talk about it, but you don't hear these problems in mass happening on other platforms the way it happens on eBay. But we navigate through it nonetheless, right? Flip It Good says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. We have Lilac Seller Meg. Thanks for being here, Meg. Nice to see you again. Guide Guru says, sales have been good, lackluster today, but still decent. Brian says, got my thumbs up sale. That's awesome. Get that to chain. Send one my way while you're at it.
Yeah, send me one.
Duncan DR says, and how you doing, Duncan, out in Australia? Says, hi, John and Jay. December already. Time goes so fast. I hope you're making the most of each day, keeping each other happy. Happy wife, happy life. Yes, we went and had on Wednesday, we kind of celebrated my birthday. And for those of you who saw on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, it was just the lobster tails, the whole lobsters that they had, the crab legs, the prime rib. And
I was in heaven.
So it was, we spent a good solid hour and like 20 minutes at that place. I'm like, we got there at like 5:30 and it's like 7, a little after 7. I'm like, we've been here this long, really?
Yeah.
So it was a good day. Won a little money at the casino.
When you're having fun.
Yeah. So great food out here in Vegas. There's so many different options, and we found another place, a go-to place at the Palms Casino.
Yeah.
Victor Wawiorka says, hello, everyone. Have a great weekend. Yes. And then Scott Bearded Picker says, good afternoon. Good evening for you. Thanks for being here.
The maestro of the BBW community.
Kenneth Oros says, actually keep pushing to January. Yeah, keep pushing to January, but we're going to be making another trip to family like the week of Christmas. And while I anticipate getting sales and all that stuff, we're going to have the same formula. It's almost like a vacation, but we know sales are going to happen. I'm just not going to be, other than having listings scheduled, I'm not going to be really doing a whole bunch for the business past the 20th.
Well, the good thing is with Christmas being that it is on a Monday, we won't be in California as long as we were for Thanksgiving. So
right. So
plus we won't have any surprise parties going on that needed to extend our visit.
Anyone hear about that one? I think we talked about it on Monday, but that was definitely a good job by you. Thank you. Semperfi's in the house, done sourcing for a while, death pile too big.
Yeah, we've been there. Although we don't really have death piles. We have things we need to get to.
We have things. I have a death pile of stuff that I meant to put in a yard sale that's been sitting in a tub for at least a year and a half. And just once we have a yard sale, hopefully this spring,
I don't know that we're ever going to get a yard sale because we didn't get one for the fall. And now, I mean, so what? This community only does one once a year? I mean, that's ridiculous.
And I suppose I could do a yard sale and have, someone
I'd have to go sit at the gate.
Yeah, I don't want to do all that.
The
we have eBay Grind Grandma.
Aww.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the super chat.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. Maybe go to the Starbucks and grab something.
Dutch Bros.
All right,
we don't do Starbucks.
So thank you, eBay Grind Grandma. Thank you. I appreciate you. Go back to where I was here.
Right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Guide says in October I had 5-0 sales day.
Ooh.
November had all days with sales, so I feel like my changes have improved. Okay. And that's the thing. You want to keep striving to change. Don't feel, maybe your sales have improved, but maybe you're not done making changes. Keep improving the business when you can.
Yeah.
Beard's here for the BBW content.
I just said he's the BBW maestro.
He needs to make a video with a pair of those granny panties on.
Yeah, okay.
Jacqueline.
Hey, you know what? It could be really good for views.
It will. Especially if you have it on your thumbnail. But it'll be good for views, but it will not be good for subscribers. They might leave the channel.
His ego might not ego, but his what's the word?
I don't know. I'm not the guy who'll give you English words. I can't even find my own words half the time. Jacqueline B says, I've been inactive due to health issues for 2 weeks. Now that I'm better, what's your advice to get back on track? Thank you. Jacqueline, you gotta just be consistent. And of course, I got people calling me when they don't know I'm on a live stream. But you want to be consistent with your business, and that starts with developing a schedule. Get up at a certain time and take care of like any residual shipping, and then get your listing done, whatever that is, and do that consistently. Whether it's for a few hours, maybe you only have an hour a day to spend on the listings or whatever, but keep listing. And now eBay doesn't expect you to list every day, but I can tell you from experience, I'll list and then maybe I'll take a day off from listing. I'll have good sales, but the day after that, my sales feel like they drop off. And maybe it's just a coincidence, right? But I think whenever you take time off, there's going to be a little buffer period where you just got to build it up, and that consistency, eventually you'll start getting better activity on your account.
Yeah, just, pay attention to your health. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Vitamins, water, all the things. But a consistent schedule is key.
Yes.
I literally, when I wake up in the morning, do the same exact thing every single morning.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we got to do. We got to develop so that you're not constantly, feeling like you're pushing yourself. It becomes natural. You just like, this is my routine. And that's sort of what we do. Get up, get breakfast, get the residual shipping done, and we're just off with our day. But hopefully you feel better. That's the most important thing.
Exactly. You have to take care of you, because nobody can take better care of you than you.
We have Duncan here. Hold on. We have thanks, Duncan, for sending over the super chat. $11 calling general order. If you have 5 to spare, send super chat now. John's toilet seat sales are down. Get a pizza too for you too. Thanks, Duncan. Don't have to send a super chat to offset my sales. I promise you that
it'll pick up. It'll
pick up.
We ebb and flow just as everybody else does. This channel is definitely meant to show you the good, the bad, the ugly, the non-sales, the great sales, all of the things in between. And
you're also going to see that there's a human side to this too. I think a lot of channels, they avoid showing you the human side and just want to show you the positive side. Real. And you know what? If I make mistakes, I'll admit it, and we'll move on. And you guys will call me on it as well.
Yeah, John will be up at 1:00 in the morning making redo videos for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th time.
Yeah, definitely. And I just felt like I cannot let this video sit here and not correct it. So
yeah.
Guide Guru, jeez.
Oh my
Toilet seat fund donation. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what's weird
Thank
though?
you.
Thanks, Guide Guru. I appreciate that. It's totally unexpected. We don't do these lives for the super chats. It's more for the community. But
That's
thank you
sweet.
so much for that.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the last couple months have been really the toilet seats have really kind of dried up for me.
Yeah, lately we haven't been getting them as often as we used to.
Right.
So maybe that'll change. Maybe we'll go back to that. We'll start getting that again. But who knows?
Duncan says, John, keep up the work on the second store, getting the sports stuff up and building a following of repeat buyers. Your sales will double over time. Yeah, that's the plan. Again, it's if I'm going to spend time on a secondary store, why not make the most out of it? Yes, it's a test store. I do a lot of test things on that store. I don't want to test what's really working on my main store. But I think I'm kind of tired of the clearance aisle stuff. I think eBay is going in that direction, and get rid of the crap that's in there. That's kind of what we're doing over this month. And then my store is probably going to be under 100 until we build it up. Now, I'm not looking to build it up to a certain size. As I get merchandise, I'm just going to list it there, and we're going to see what happens with it.
Yeah, but I'm super excited to see those records.
They will be gone. They will be gone.
And I can't wait till they're all.
Which means I won't be buying records unless I get really good.
They're good ones.
If I get a comp on a record that's over $20, then I'll grab it.
But nobody wants to see what are some of those. I mean, these things are old. Like I can't even believe some people listen to this.
60s, 70s, but we had pulled all these records and we're sorting them out the last couple of days. And she's getting frustrated because people are buying them. We haven't pulled the listings yet.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I'm pulling the listings as I'm creating the lot. So before I launch the lot, I'm going in, finding the item, taking the title, copying it into the actual item description, and then delete. That way I can make sure that the item's not going to be double sold if the lot sells and I'm left with the listing.
Well, thankfully in my floor organization I was able to easily find the ones that sold while I was doing this project, but yeah, I'm happy to see them go.
So Maya says about the BBE, I cannot believe the U.S. reps told you it was going to apply to us if it's just not true.
Yeah, and it was so weird. I mean, he thought he was, well, okay, he was
This is the third call. This is when you're in the car with me. We're driving to dinner.
He was super helpful. And he was really trying, but then towards the end, you could just tell.
The rep reminded me of. This one was not a U.S. rep. The rep reminded me of Shaggy. Yeah.
Shaggy.
The ones. Life is one big party when you're still young. That one. He sounded just like him. I believe he was from Jamaica, right? But Shaggy was certainly trying to help, and he even put us on hold and came back and said, I think this is international. I'm like, okay, if it is international, let me know if that's the case. Well, I'm gonna put you on hold. He puts me on hold and comes back and says, no, you should receive an email between now and the 11th of December. This is going to be for all US eBay.com sellers. Okay. And so that was the end of that song. And we went to dinner, and turned out that night after we got back, we're looking at Facebook groups, and there was a subject on this, and one of the moderators reached out and said, this is what the hubbub is. And they gave them the answer that this is only for international sellers selling on eBay.com. Now, as far as the US reps I spoke to, I think I totally caught them off guard. Neither of them knew of the policy I was talking about. They put me on hold and then came back. Maybe this is a trick that reps do, no matter where you're at. The reps at call centers do. They like to give you an answer that sounds good to get you off the phone. And if you accept it, boom, it worked. I don't have to deal with this person or maybe question ever again. And they can move on with their day. That's kind of the mindset that people have. So doesn't surprise me. I did take the time to really get the U.S. reps on the phone because I wanted to have that conversation, but it didn't work in this case because it still led to the wrong answer. And I don't think it's incompetence, though, really. I mean, I really don't. I think reps.
I think they're not given any information.
Right.
They're not given the proper tools to do their job as a one-call resolution. And coming from the call center, I can tell you right now, if you don't have the tools, you're going to give wrong information.
Right.
And it's just the way it is. And so
Right.
it's sad that eBay wants to make sure that the sellers are all on the up and up and they're doing A, B, and C correctly, but yet they can't even get their own reps on the right track with finding out the right information for the correct, answering the questions with an actual answer that makes more sense.
I know if I was able to run the call centers at eBay, that would be fixed.
Oh my God, that would be an undertaking in itself.
No, not really, because you're talking about it's just simple information. If you give people information, they're going to be able to answer questions accurately. If you give them no access to tools or information, if you limit that information that they're allowed to give, then they can't help the customers. And what are they there for if they can't do more than just the basic, questions? If they're hoping
just answering the phone,
if they're hoping that someone's going to call and say, "How do I list on eBay?" Well, okay, but I think they just don't want to deal with that. They're making it harder and harder for you anyway to get hold of a rep. They want it to be self-service, so you find the answer on your own. And I think as sellers, we should be able to should be trying to find the answer on our own. But there's many cases where the answer doesn't speak to the situation you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. The policies that they have posted aren't clear, and
the answers are not readily available.
You got to get someone on the phone to help you.
Yeah, the FAQs are not up to par. Nothing is ever updated as far as finding the answer that you need.
Now, most people say it's a waste of your time to call the call center.
It is,
and it feels like a waste of time. But I am not going to chance any kind of defects hitting my account. And we're already seeing that INRs, I'm not receives, neutral feedbacks are now looked at by eBay in a negative light. That should concern everyone. Now, whether they're applying this to us at all, that's a different story. But if this is the direction it's going, I'm going to take the extra time to actually going to protect my account from defects that shouldn't happen. That's just my number one concern. I never want to put myself in a situation where my defects are hurting my ability to make money on the platform. Duncan says, I'm waiting for their doorbell to ring and dog barking. Well, this dog's going outside, actually. And I told her before the show, these dogs want to be part of the show for whatever reason. They do not like us not paying attention to them. They do not like us having a conversation without them. And I like to stay focused. I know that you guys don't tune in for, a show for animals, even though I know a lot of you do love animals. But I do like to stay focused whenever possible. And so when the doorbell rings, you're going to hear my little Alexa try to curse, but don't be alarmed. Bearded Picker says, I haven't sold any big girl panties this week. Is eBay against BBW? It may be a banned category.
Good afternoon, John.
Okay. Henri Squaw says, please summarize for those that only watch this. Jimmy D says, if you sell shoes through the promoted listings program, later get a return for doesn't fit, you get a credit for the promoted listings fee. Yes, you do. You do. What I've also noticed is if you do a partial refund, let's say the buyer contacts you, you made a mistake in the listing, you give them the option. You're welcome to return it, or if you can make this work for you, I know you paid $100, I'll give you $20 back and we'll call it a day, rather than just buying a $15 to $20 label. And that is, to me, an option when I can maybe, the buyer is saying, hey, this wasn't included or whatever. So in doing that, you'll send them $20. You'll see that eBay is only charging your account $17 and change or whatever it was. That happened to me actually today. But if you go in, you get a return back from a buyer. Let's say, oh man, they swapped this thing out. They actually sent me a brick and kept the item that I sent them. Well, you really don't have much recourse but to adjust the refund up to 50%. But eBay, when you adjust the refund, they're not giving you that back, the seller fees back on the adjusted refund when you use the seller tool, only when you give the full refund. So it's kind of weird the way they have it set up, but it's a lesson learned for me. If I'm ever using the tool to deduct money from someone's refund, it's going to be 50% or nothing else. It doesn't make sense if you're already paying 20+% in final value fees after you promote and you adjust it, a refund by 25%. What's the point? You're not retaining anything after the fees are refunded back to you. Let's see. Brian says BYOB. Bring your own beer, I guess.
Yeah.
No one design. Don't worry, Jenna. My wife does the same thing when I talk. She watches her crime show on the phone. Yeah.
That's fun. It's funny you say that. So John has all these little tasks that I do. And today it's
like a reverse honeydew list.
More than normal, and they were different tasks than I'm used to. And so I'm starting the laundry and I'm asking him, what did you want me to do with these things? And then he tells me, and I'm still proceeding to do the laundry. And he tells me, and I go into the office to do the task, and I come out and I say, what did you want me to do?
And I said, did you not listen to what I just told you?
I didn't hear a damn thing.
It was coming out as wah, 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 wah.
And that's how you normally sound.
Wow. I'm sure other people that are watching can agree with that statement, right?
John talks just to hear himself talk.
That is not true.
No, it is so true.
Not true.
He could be in here talking. It sounds like sometimes he's on the phone, but he's not.
I am on the phone.
No.
Almost all the time.
You talk to yourself in the kitchen, in the bathroom.
You are within... Okay, this is, I guess, why people tune in to hear these conversations.
Yes.
We live in a single-story house. It's not a huge house. She's within earshot. So there's a lot of times that I will say something and I'm thinking she's like right next to me or in the room, and it turns out that she's not, okay? Or she's left the room. So,
or I'm in my own world, watching or listening to something else, and I'm not listening to because he's on the phone so often. I always think he's on the phone, but there are many times when he's not on the phone and I'm not in earshot. And he's talking to himself.
I'm not talking to myself.
But you think you're talking to me, but you're not.
Okay, let's move on. I don't think people want to be a part of this conversation. Jim B says Jenna was connecting her dial-up internet service.
No, I was looking at the camera. That's what that sound was.
Jeff Zenick says, hi, John and Jenna and folks. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
You got mail.
Yeah, you got mail. LSGS Rob says, sup, John? Been a while since I made a live. How's sales and how's your year to year? Thank you for being here, LSGS Rob. Nice to see you. I can tell you, if I had to look, I haven't looked recently, but as far as my year to year sales, go to sales. Last year or this year, I am at 118,800. That's this year. That's not counting December. And in the summer, I was on pace for 160. I'll probably hit over anywhere between 130 and 140. So the last few months, I've fallen off of I was doing $14,000 a month in sales throughout the summer, and it fell off quite a bit, like 15 to 20+%. Yeah. Tommy's, I'm BBE 12-star rated. We have Christine Moses in the house. Hi from snowy Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, you guys get a lot of snow.
Could use some snow. Backyard mowing says Cyber Monday was great.
For buying.
Yeah, Cyber Monday was great for us. It was, I mean, I don't want to say it was, off the charts great, but I mean, I'll take a $500 day. ML Pierce says, did someone say anal? I did not say anal. Sorry. Bearded Picker says, I get a lot of returns. The BBW rated 75%, the 3XL crowd. You know, I can't answer what you're going through. I would say just sell all those big girl panties that you have, Beard, in bulk, and just get rid of them.
Nobody's buying them. That's the problem.
Mark says, hello all. Hope everyone had a great sales weekend. I just hit that like button and got 4 sales.
Wow.
That's really awesome.
That's awesome. On one like, I mean, what the heck?
Kevin Rollins says, hi from Cocoa, Florida. Just getting started. Got my mailbox today at UPS store and setting up my first sale tonight.
That's
looking forward to kicking things off. There you go. Awesome. And get some of that last minute Q4 holiday Christmas sale action.
Yeah.
That I think we're all kind of scrambling for.
January is a good year for sales, or a good month for your. Oh my God, I can't speak.
Yeah. January
is a good month for sales. That's what I was going to say.
I agree.
That's what we usually have good January.
You get a good carryover. You're gonna get people that have their gift cards. And you know, if you are looking for that special gift for someone, why not give them an eBay gift card? That way they can reinvest that money back into the community, and we're all winning. Someone's winning. Guy Guru says, I found a fully functional Bose Wave CD player at Goodwill yesterday for $15. Awesome. What's the return on that? What's the comps look like? I'm sure it was pretty good. Music playlist galore says, hey there from Australia.
Australia.
Awesome.
We love Australia.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Duncan's from
I know, a lot of Australians. Yeah. Mike Gertis says, hello, November was my second best sales revenue since 2020. Finally caught up year over year. I don't panic much. Bust, I started feeling the pressure in September. All is good now. Today, $465 so far. There you go, Mike.
Good.
Awesome. Brian H says, attack dogs. Yeah, their bark is a lot more aggressive than their bite. I tell you that.
They're pansies.
Peter says, hi, John and Jenna, watching from cold and snowy Northumberland, England. Northumberland.
Ooh, cold and snowy.
Tommy says, John puts a ring cam on his toilet seat, sturdy man.
Oh.
Just when you come over, Tommy. That's for you. When that day arrives, when you come over, I'm turning that thing on.
Oh my God.
Devon says, hello, lots of snow today.
Snow in Idaho.
Everyone's getting snow.
Already? Wow.
Heck, we can't even get rain here.
Wait, have you poked? Well.
Tommy says, Mike, we have had the BBE policy for years at Seller Metrics. It's Seller Metrics, I agree, except, when you're talking about the item not as described. But when we start looking at item not received, they're putting that in this policy towards those sellers because there's a lot of people that are not getting their item within the time frame that's promised from those sellers that are shipping into the United States. That's a metric I would hate to have counted against me. My carrier comes here every day. They pick up, they scan. Now it's no longer in my hands. To be penalized for them losing my package, right? Or being penalized for, let's say, the item being delivered to the front patio, someone steals it, or they just lost it. And then they claim item not received because they claim I haven't received the item, even though there's a delivery scan. That's a problem. And it's being counted on all INR requests, not just those that are within your control. It's every single one of them for those sellers. So I very much hope that that's not going to be a thing once they finally do implement something new for us sellers here in the United States. Simply Shenanigans says, hey, everyone.
What does that mean?
Thank you for being here. The eBay Grind Grandma says, hey, guys, I'm on time today. Been really slow in my store this past couple weeks. Been really slow. It has been for a lot of people. And, I think for many, we're really relying or hoping that the economy at some point will turn and we can all look back on this and laugh. But in the meantime, there's a lot of people that are really struggling out there. Kelly Deb says, hi, John and Jenna in chat. I hope everyone has had a good sales week. I do too. Dragon Masters Finds, thanks for being here. Says, hello all. Big Dre says no sales today, but that's always happens when my sales turn off. I'll put them on again today. 49er fan says I'm selling on 3 platforms to make average sales. Feel like I'm working harder than ever to achieve average. Watchers are, and I will keep it clean. So you get a lot of watchers. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. Could be just other sellers that are looking at your, or sometimes piggybacking off of your listing or using your listing for reference. Could be just looky-loos. You know, people like to go shopping. They'll look at 100 things before they finally settle on one item to buy. And, you know, yeah, you do have to work harder now because there's fewer buyers on the platform. It may not seem like a lot. You know, what are we talking? Like 3-4% eBay lost that many buyers, but it does add up. If you go month over month, quarter over quarter, and continual losses of buyers on the platform, it does create a situation where we're competing for fewer sales. And just keep cross-posting. That is definitely one way to try to counteract it. But at some point, your sales are going to still be slow until all this kind of blows over. 5-figure eBay seller says my Tuesday was my dead day. We got Lissa.
We usually have one of those a week.
Just Lissa says just got up a little while ago. And
Lissa, you just got up?
And Josh finally joined us. He was running a little late. Says good afternoon from Niagara, Canada.
You know, when Josh isn't live in the morning, it throws my whole morning off. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. It's terrible.
And we're responsible for like at least 3% of his viewership on every live because we have it on we have it on the garage, we have it in hers, we have it in here.
Yep.
Sure, maybe in another
surround sound all over the house.
Dragon Masters Fine says I had a good day of thrifting while my son was at school. And you know, I've got to maybe start looking at when things start to kick up again in 2024 as far as the number of yard sales we have out here. There's usually quite a few Friday yard sales. So I'm going to start hitting those as well.
What, come the spring?
Yeah. Well, even before then. Big Dre says I'll have to upgrade my store as well this month because I use up all my listings before the month is over. I have a little over 600 listings. And it's not a whole lot. It's really worth the investment.
It's worth it.
I think having the ability to do markdown sales and just coupons. I think having a public coupon in your listing, someone's on the fence of buying your item, that coupon just may put them over the top to buy your item. I've had nothing but success over the years using it. Bearded Picker says, so I just got a sale and I haven't hit the like button yet. Does that mean I get another sale if the like button, since it doesn't count? What's the like button?
It's a like button.
I didn't know that Scott drank.
Maybe Scott's lights up.
Scott, do you drink on the weekends?
It's not the weekend.
Yeah, it's Friday night. Let's get ready for the weekend. Let's crack open the couple.
He goes live after we do.
He will go live, but I hope he's sober. Brian H says
he was trying on the BBW.
Weird search results. One example of why flipping ain't easy. Yes,
that's right.
eBay Grind Grandma says this whole BBE fiasco scared a lot of sellers. Let's hope that it never happens to us USA sellers. If so, nobody will be able to keep their 100% scores. And what would that mean for top-rated seller plus?
Well,
sellers?
You can guarantee if it's on the international, it's coming here. If it's not already here and we just don't know it.
In a different form. I
think it's maybe in a different form. Yes.
I honestly think the reason why some of these metrics are being implemented with this new BBE thing, and that is they're really trying to push the bad sellers off the platforms, the ones that are accumulating all these negatives, accumulating all these neutrals, delivering packages whenever they feel like it, or just not at all sometimes. And then people leave these negatives because eBay doesn't give them a really easy way to try to resolve. I didn't get my item, right? You can file a claim, but you got to go through all these steps to do it. And so I think that if it is implemented in the United States, I think it's going to be done in a different way, if it is at all. But we'll see, I guess. Tommy says, click the categories instead of using the cell phones and accessories, select the phone category. But all I'm doing, Tommy, is what a buyer would do. Someone coming over to eBay for the first time, they're not going to know to click on categories, this, that, and the other thing. I know I can find what I'm looking for. It may take a few extra steps to finally find if I'm trying to buy something on eBay. I'm concerned that these things are happening and it's affecting your just average everyday buyer who doesn't want to play games with the eBay search. They just want to type in what they're looking for. Maybe they can't find the price they're looking for. They click on the lowest plus shipping to get the lowest ones first, and they go, well, wow, I was just looking at 200,000 results. Now I have 200, and they don't know what to do. It's odd to them, and then they leave the platform and they never come back. Dragon Master says, I have good bins to go to and just got lucky at the connected main Goodwill. That seems to be a fluke. Well, just ride that train as long as you can.
Ride it till it stops.
You have to actually be in full, like a full football jersey with helmet to go to the Goodwill bins here. People will just run you over, and they'll grab the same item that you grabbed. They'll play tug of war with you. It's a hot mess. Hit you
with the cart.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. Guy Guru says, I actually want the BBE changes here. Am I the only one? I don't mind the idea of adding something like that, a weekly evaluation, to get rid of the bad sellers, because again, the bad sellers are driving away your next sale. So you don't want that to happen. You want the bad sellers to leave. But if good sellers are going to be negatively affected by a metric, like item not received, that's where I think I have a problem. So I think this policy, like I said, is more directed to get rid of those sellers and allow only the cream of the crop to survive. And I'm good with that. Ren Gregory says, I got a notice from eBay that I was being added to international combined shipping orders. I have very few international sales. After I got this notice, everything went quiet. So one account is opted in to international shipping. That's our secondary account. My main still hasn't been opted in, but I do know that they're working on being able to allow you to combine shipping. So you're not charging these buyers separate shipping rates for every item they're buying from you, which I think is a good thing. But unfortunately, if it's not implemented properly and it's causing problems for people, maybe there's no correlation between this happening and your sales going quiet. But I know for me, when they first started the international shipping program, they automatically opted us in, and I had to shut that thing off because it was hurting both of my accounts. Landshark Picker says, Scott, your door is blue, apparently. We have Rated Forever says, hello, John and everyone else. Who here uses the eBay standard delivery to ship to Canada? Let me finish reading here. As there is a huge issue with this for me as a Canadian buyer. I haven't had any international shipping sales on the secondary account, so I can't really tell you that. Maybe someone can answer that in the chat here. No One Design says, if you do a general search, you get everything under the sun. Just as an iPhone 15, you'll also get iPhone 15 color toilet seat covers. You need to do a category search. That's good to know if you're someone doing research as a seller. Where is eBay educating our buyers? So I don't want to lose buyers who are trying to find my item, but can't because they get 200,000 search results, and then they try to sort it by price, and it wipes almost all of them away. Final Rob says, your opinion on end sell sim as opposed to letting eBay automatically do it. I think sometime within the 30-day process, you need to be ending item and selling similar. I am going to be more careful that I do not end an item that I've recently, within the last 48 hours, have sent an offer on. Because if now, again, this is one US rep telling me that is something that they're looking at. But if they're looking at ending auctions early as a bad thing, and they have for years, and now they're saying if you end an item that you've sent an offer for, it could possibly lead to a bad buyer experience. You send an offer in the morning, that afternoon you end the item to relist it, that evening they get home from work They see a great price. They go to click on it. They're all excited, and it says this listing doesn't exist. So I can see how that would upset someone and cause disappointment. I'm just, everything I do has to center around account protection. So and account health. So I just have to change my process, even if it may not even be a thing. It may be something that someone told me. I am not going to find out the hard way, when they decide that they're going to start cracking down even further on sellers. And now they're doing it on sellers in the US. Under Seller Hub, have you seen this? Engage interested buyers with automated offers. Set it and forget it. Maximize your sales without compromising your busy schedule. Yes, you can do that. For many people who already use, like, okay, I used to have this mindset where I would offer the minimum, which is 5%, right? 5%, which is not a discount at all that's going to compel anyone to buy your item. I was using that to get the boost, because when you send offers to watchers, you get a small boost in search. So you send an offer to watcher, and the next day it would always work out. I'd get full ask for the item I just sent an offer for. And that was the whole purpose of me doing that. Now, if you play that game, I don't really play that game anymore. I like going through each one because I might have maybe been sitting on this item for months. I'm more willing to give a deeper discount because, aside from gaming the algorithm a little bit, I am trying to get that item out of here. And if someone's already looking at my item at the current price point at, let's say, $70, if I offer it to them for 50, which is quite a substantial discount, and I'm into it for 10, we both win. I get rid of the item. I may not buy that item again. And or maybe if I do, just realize that it's going to take a little longer to sell it. Willow Soul says, so sad. I've been on eBay off and on for 20 years. It used to be simple and fun. Now I'll probably go elsewhere. It seems they don't want us anymore. They don't want the bad buying experience. That's all it is. There is no, and I think a lot of people get this sometimes from my videos, because I do really come off sometimes as pro seller, and sometimes I come off as pro eBay. I get both sides of the argument. But for me, eBay is trying to protect their brand. That's what I see. And there are many sellers who just think, it's no big deal. Someone at the door?
Someone is at the front door. Okay.
So there you go. So I'm just saying it like this. eBay doesn't hate sellers. Okay. Stop talking, please. eBay doesn't hate. I'm gonna have to shut this thing off when I do lives. eBay doesn't hate you as a seller. Let's just get that clear. They hate what you do to upset their buyers and make them leave the platform. So if you continue to do those things as a seller, they're going to find, collectively, they're going to find ways to make us all pay and be held to a higher standard. And if you're already doing things that a higher standard will support, then you have nothing to worry about. Ren says, no, you're not alone, Guide Guru, BBE. I am hoping it goes both ways and bad sellers are no longer able to sell. Now, what that does is it raises it. I'm shutting this thing off. It's more of a distraction than anything else, so I apologize. I think that eBay is going to raise the bar by doing that. So once you eliminate the bad buyers, now some of the average, the bad sellers, some of the average sellers are going to now fall into the bottom, if that makes sense. I'm going to end up shutting this thing off.
Why? What'd she do?
She just won't shut up. It's going to be the Flippin' Ain't Easy with Siri show, or in this case, Alexa show.
Well, now you said
I don't want to say her name. Tommy says, sales have been on fire. How can there be a search outage? Is that an eBay announcement or YouTube announcement? I'm just curious, though. I've not heard of it. Did someone call in and complain and we're given, hey, we've been out? I don't expect eBay to announce it. They don't communicate with us at all. So, I'm wondering where that came from. David Pitland says, hey, how are we all doing? Sales are dead today. My stock isn't the best. And I think, David, that you are one of the few that is willing to admit that sometimes. We have things that we think are, this has potential to sell, but it may not be too good. And I think if many of us change and maybe eliminate some of the things that we sell in our store, that might just help. I was deleting a bunch of these die-cast cars, these vintage, new out of stock or new old stock NASCAR cars that we had and that were individually listed, which was a stupid mistake, but nonetheless, started getting them off of the site and lotted up, and sales started to just come through for other unrelated stuff.
Oh yeah, it was insane.
So it's like I'm pulling bad stuff off of the store, and eBay is sort of giving me a boost for doing it.
Yeah.
Again,
Stuff that's been in the store forever.
Maybe a coincidence, but we're talking about a store that doesn't get a lot of action. That's all of a sudden starting to get some action. The Thrifty Loons is after this last week. I'm not sure if I want any more sales. Oh, that's good if you had a lot of sales. Brenda Smith says, I did a search for votive candle holders, and the search came up with used dentures.
Oh my gosh.
Who wants that?
Wow. Oh no.
Who wants that?
So bad.
Alyssa says, John, you should make a short of Dear Jenna wrangling Frankenboxing. We'd love to see how it's done.
Yeah, well, you'd be too busy seeing Jenna look like a hot wreck.
Yeah, it's, Jenna in action with the box cutter cussing away. And then when you're done,
you would have to overlay music on top of it.
And then when you're done, the box looks like a Gumby haircut, where it's like 6 inches on this side and 8 inches high on that side.
I do my best to make it as equal as possible, but you know what? When you ask me to do a Frankenbox, you getting it the way it gets done.
Hey, as long as it gets there, it's not shipped in a Fruit Loops box, I think we're all good. Dragon Masters Fine says, I forgot to set my 10% off sale again. I was doing really well with it running. And that's why I like to set my discounts or my coupons for the year. And I like to set the markdown sales to run every 2 weeks. eBay said a while back that the most optimal time frame to set a markdown sale is 2 weeks. So that's kind of what I do. Disgruntled Octopus says, morning humans.
Hey,
awesome.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Brian H says, when I buy inventory, they ship FedEx Smart Post. I notice it takes about 3 times as long to ship as USPS because they're shipping through FedEx. They're handing it off to USPS to finish the process, and that's never a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I bought on Black Friday, or not Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I was doing all of our Christmas shopping, and I actually purchased a gift on eBay for my nephew, and it was literally here in 2 days. And
so kudos to that seller. They did a good job.
Yeah, for sure. That one was top notch. That's the kind of eBay sellers we need.
Yes. Guide Guru says, I opted in to offsite beta with $100 credit after 10 days. I had 7 clicks on November 24th and nothing the other days. I think it's not working right. But it's free, right? I wouldn't pay for it. So that's why I said, okay, they wanted me to set $5 minimum for 30 days. So I just went in and said, end this on the 20th because I don't want to pay for something like that may give me more exposure, but since it's free is the only reason why I'm using it. Renee Kingsbury is with us. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Renee.
Dragon Masters Fine says, Octo, you were stalking me at the bins again today. I figured you wouldn't want to be bothered every time I find one of your minions. Guys, says J&J, did you hit the like?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm really hoping something happens.
Ren got her thumbs up sale. Awesome. We have a question from Christine Moses says, I can't remember if eBay warns buyers of holiday shipping deadlines for Christmas. I think they do.
I think they do, because I think I got one when I bought Ryland's gift.
Okay, so maybe, but there is a range of dates in the listing itself. So as we get closer, I think mentally my cutoff for Christmas sales is like the 17th.
17th.
I think it gives a solid week.
Yeah. We do kind of change our, the way we do run some of the shipping and the way we ship when we are at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Because we know that some things are gifts, or even if they may not be gifts, they have the potential to be, and we don't know that. So we cover up brand names, and we do our best to make sure that the items get there without, blowing the secret.
Yeah, and we had to package things a little differently the last couple weeks because, okay, I guess we'll double box this thing because we don't want people to find out. That I like that Porter Cable heat gun. It came just with the label slapped on it. That would have been a gift for me. It's like, thank you.
The other day, good old Amazon, I was ordering decorations for his surprise party, and they came to the door with no box, no little Amazon bag, no nothing, just a label slapped right on it. And of course, Mr. Nosy Pants had to be coming down the hallway right when I was grabbing it. And I literally picked it up from the doorstep and chucked it over to my workspace because he was coming down the hallway to see what it was. And I was like, oh, it's nothing.
Well, it is.
Anyway.
What it is. It didn't ruin it, but I can see many surprises being ruined by Amazon this time of year.
Yeah.
Patricia says, I saw that. I thought that was my freaking listings or automated offers.
Oh.
Noah Design says, pro tip, covering the subscribe and like sign with John 1973 card is a YouTube rookie mistake.
That's not a card, by the way. That is a cutting board that he received from our son. And I didn't have any. He's not going to use it. Do you see what he's talking about?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. I put it there because I don't have anywhere else to put it.
We'll find a place.
I'll figure it out. We have some dead space. So.
I have lots of things that are stored away that I'd love to actually put up, but I just haven't even been motivated to do it. I came across it the other day. Dragon Master Fine says, I've never heard of a junk drawer lot. See, I get to learn something new every day. Definitely going to try some of those.
I never heard of that. Guide Guru, go up a little higher. List it as a junk drawer lot and auction it. That is that's what she was talking about for your tub out that side.
Well, yeah, but it's just a large tub of stuff. I don't know. I maybe just donate it or something. But eBay Grind Grandma says, you're welcome. Love you guys. I mentioned you on my first live show the other day. Awesome. You went live.
My goodness. Well, wait. Let me go in and subscribe.
Awesome. And Patricia does junk drawer lots.
You do?
Interesting.
That's a good idea.
Maybe it's just me. I was looking up LP lots. There's somebody who sold, I think they sold 180 to 200 albums, and they sold it for $600 free shipping. That's a lot of albums. Pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But like, wow, I didn't know people wanted to buy albums in large lots like that on eBay.
Yeah.
So, it's possible. Larzy says, competition has started copying my listing names and descriptions, LOL. And there's not anything you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it, so I would not even worry about it.
Even photos. People complain when people steal their photos, but eBay will say, look, it belongs to us now. It's on our platform. Yeah. It's just going to open up that seller to INADs, what eBay calls SNADs, item not as described, if they get it and it's not in the condition that's mentioned in the listing.
Yeah, I would just concentrate on what you can control. Don't worry about what other people are doing.
We have Belinda Schlacks in the house. Thanks for being here, Belinda. And we have Maya says, I'm glad it wasn't just me. It seems like only the cover photos are uploading and not all the rest of the photos. Interesting. Dragon Man, I've noticed that. I've been noticing a lot of my active listings with randomly having a missing main photo. That's Dragon Master. Interesting. Duncan says, don't worry, I also do the same thing every day to ship orders, post orders, eat food, list more crap, fall asleep in front of a movie every night.
That's a great routine. I like it.
Yeah, Brian H says, toilet seat sales should increase right after Thanksgiving. A lot of busted toilet seats.
That's right. The family members come over and they,
Well, I don't think it should change the frequency. Now, as far as like exercise equipment isn't really a hot thing, but January 1, it will definitely be a hot thing.
And then it turns into a coat rack come February.
Yes. Beard says, Joni was watching a special on Milli Vanilli. Those songs are stuck in my head. I'm checking into an asylum. Blame it on the rain. Jacqueline B says, even though I'm not active much, I never missed a live. Thanks all your
Aw.
well wishes in remission, stronger daily. Get stronger
Aw,
daily.
You will. You're in our prayers.
Focus on you and get yourself where you need to be. That's it. We have the goats in the house. He's lurking.
Woo! We love you.
Yeah, Pete. Thanks for being here. Jim B says, Mr. Bombastic, Mr. Fantastic. Yep.
Mr. Lorbolo.
She doesn't like Shaggy. So if I play like a couple songs that, from the day, she'll get real irritated, especially when I start actually
because
doing
he
the Shaggy
sings
voice.
it.
Yep. Life is one big party when you're still young.
Okay.
No Design says, I don't think Shaggy sound like that. If memory serves me, more like a pothead than that eats dog snacks. Wow. Guy Grew says, John can sing in the rain and the snow. I got the funky, funky flow and your Shaggy voice. I don't know that verse. I don't know what song that's from. Maya says, but then why tell you it was a definite thing when they weren't even sure if it was? Seems like it sets them up to get yelled at if their management finds out they gave completely wrong info. I don't think eBay is all that concerned about the information. They may make it sound like this call may be recorded for training purposes, but I just think that from my experience at the call center level, right? You have supervisors, right? You think supervisors would know. They're listening, they're monitoring calls. They're listening for how the caller is treated and the interaction between the rep and the caller. And a lot of the supervisors that I work with as a supervisor didn't know the policy from a hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. So they themselves would have to call to get help with information. So I don't think that's a thing at eBay.
Yeah, I'll never forget. You remember Michelle?
Yes.
She was my supervisor once.
There's a lot of worthless supervisors in that
she was
industry.
monitoring my call. I just got on her team and she was monitoring my call, and she gets off, and it was back when they would come on your line after the call.
Yep.
And she comes on my line and she goes, "Oh my God, I did not even know that. Where did you find that information?" And it was just such a simple answer that it blew me away how much she had no clue.
Yeah. And that's a common thing in that industry. Yeah. Maya says, whenever I had patients or family members on the phone, there's no way I'm going to risk giving incorrect information and getting myself in trouble.
Right.
But that's different. Now, Jenna can tell you this because for a hot minute, she was going to work at home doing the billing or something, or what is it? The insurance?
It was for the insurance company. It was people call in and ask questions about their insurance.
Yes. And then
claims or whatever.
Something like that. You give out bad information, it is really bad stuff.
Yes, it was extremely difficult because if you give out the wrong information regarding your medical insurance, that company that you're working for gets fined because that call not only is recorded, but it's listened to by the people that regulate healthcare.
Right.
And so it's extremely, extremely important that you have the tools available to you to give the right answers, because the company will get fined and you'll get in trouble.
John Gaynor says, hi, John and Jenna, or Jenna and John. If eBay wants to raise the bar, maybe it should make a buyer have to write a seller before giving a neutral or negative feedback. This way a seller can try to work it out. I've always said that, and I thought eBay was going in that direction. Now, I haven't really bought anything to go and see, if that's there, but I thought eBay was making the buyer reach out or give them a grace period before they can leave a negative feedback.
Off period.
Right, and there should be like work it out with the seller. eBay is so quick to tell sellers, well, you need to contact your buyer, even when it's not a situation where you'd even want to contact your buyer.
Yeah.
But that should definitely be a part of it. But let's hope that nothing changes for us here in the U.S. I'm kind of on both sides of the coin. I want to see the bad sellers go. I want them to get out of here. They're not going to conform and treat what they do as a real business. then I want them to go because it's creating bad experiences for my future buyers. But at the same time, I don't want them to make it so punitive that it just makes it like, why even bother selling on the platform? So
if they're nitpicking at every single little tiny thing that you do or don't do, it can get tiresome.
Yeah. Beers is another problem is on sellers. They find the answer, don't like it, so they call to complain. You got the answer, comply or quit. Yes. And this person just on the front lines answering your phone, they're not going to go up to the CEO and say, hey, we got to change it. This guy's upset. No, in fact, what they kind of do sometimes is they'll maybe take a note of it. They get enough complaints about a certain thing. They'll kind of take note of it, and that they have their meeting like once a week, once every 2 weeks, their team meeting where they're taking off the phone and they go over stuff with their supervisor. They can say, hey, I'm getting a lot of calls where people are saying this, that, and other thing. And that supervisor will then take the feedback up the chain. But I don't know if eBay is like that or not.
Yeah.
Mary likes my shaggy voice. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Amazon says, Seller99 says, WRT call centers, you typically have to keep them on a tight leash or they can get themselves and the company in trouble. eBay probably doesn't want them giving too much info, so they keep them in the dark. Yes.
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 And that would
100%.
be kind of what would happen when there would be a train derailment.
Yes.
And it's on the news. Everyone's calling the call center. Like, what happened? My Aunt Mary might be on that train. And it's like, we could not say, well, they wouldn't give the reps really any information, just kind of a quick two-liner to say,
they actually would give you depending on the incident or whatever, they would give you a script and you must say that, and that's it. You're not allowed, even if you heard, so-and-so from the, customer service saying, oh my God, 10 people dead, blah, blah, blah. You can't give any of that away. You can't say any of that because not only are you going to scare people, you're going to cause unrelated problems that you really don't want to
many
do.
times the news would call.
Yes.
And,
well, they had their own dedicated phone number they had to call. So
but they would still call.
They would try, but any seasoned representative would know that not to give that information.
Restless Coyote says, we recently sold an item. There was an issue we resolved with the buyer, giving him a partial refund. Then eBay relisted it and we sold it again, had to refund and hopefully not get dinged. Yeah, I still don't understand how items get listed after you sell it.
Yeah.
We see it all the time. It's like, when did this get here?
Yeah.
I think we saw that like a few weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago that happened.
And Alexa's trying to hit on John in front of Jenna.
Honey, don't say it out loud.
He's doing that on purpose.
I know.
JB Reseller says, eBay is often compared to wanting to be like Amazon or Walmart. Question. Yeah, it is. A lot of the things that it implements is to try to emulate things that Amazon and eBay are doing. I think the search issue we're dealing with is a lot of that. If you try to search for something on Amazon, because I'm searching every day, you can click word for word the title that is in Amazon, and it'll show you other things before it shows that item. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why. Well, I guess I do. It's trying to take your previous activity into the equation to say, nah, you really don't want that. You want this one instead. Yeah. And eBay says, look how successful Amazon is. We want to be just like them in any way we can. Lissa says, a lady accidentally left a neutral. It took my rating down, and trying to get it changed is bizarrely not working for either of us. Even a feedback revision request. Barbara Ingros says, personally, I think we should be providing a great buyer experience on all fronts always. I don't have to change a thing, but I sell ephemera and do not get many returns in that category.
I agree 100%, Barbara.
Barbara, you are in a category, and I found this out a year ago. You guys know my little story with the collectibles that I was selling for a little while on the other account. It's a different breed of buyer. I think the folks that buy the type of item that you sell are not the same as your clothing buyer, as like, I'm going to buy this for this party and I'm going to return it, right? I think it's a lot different. and inherently, I think your category is going to be lower with returns. But yes, I think the idea that you're proactive as a seller, I think there's nothing wrong. You send someone an item, you're shipping someone an item. I don't do this personally, but I think it's a good idea. Send them an email. Thank you for your purchase. I appreciate your business. I just mailed out your item. Maybe you have a coupon code. Here's a coupon code that you can use for your next purchase, and maybe make that into a form letter that you have. I have my notepad sitting here that I copy and paste. Like when I'm sending an offer, I just copy paste my little verbiage, and maybe have an email like that where you copy and paste it. The buyer gets that. They may not even care about your discount code, but they see something they probably haven't seen before from their previous experiences in buying, and they think to themselves, wow, this is kind of nice. Maybe I'm going to get a good experience this time. And so you set a good first impression. And I think setting a first impression buys patience from most reasonable people. If you have a reasonable buyer, I'm not saying the wacky one-off buyers. I'm saying that the person's reasonable and you've already made it clear that you're willing to communicate. They already know that if they have a problem, they're going to be able to reach out. How many times have you as a seller received just the nastiest message from a buyer out of the blue, almost like, if you don't resolve this, I'm going to whatever, right? And then you message them right away, and then they calm down. You know where that anger comes from? Previous experiences, and they're expecting the same thing out of you. So get rid of these bad sellers who are creating these first bad experiences for these eBay buyers, and things will improve. We're still gonna have one-off bad buyers, but things will improve a little bit, I think, for the good sellers. Beard says, John's second channel, task mastering ain't easy. Yes, it isn't. We have Fart Sack Jack.
Yes.
Awesome. No One Design says, I don't know if I should mention this, but what the heck? If someone makes a username, and we all know the username, I'm not going to say it, for Amazon's devices, John will read your name and that device will be turned on. Just saying. It ain't going to happen this time. One Foot Flipper says, hello, everyone. Fart Sack. Hope everyone is having a great week. I think you just left that comment just to say Fart Sack, though. Amazon, not true. We like hearing John talk. Well, most of the time. That's awesome. JB Resellers has a question. eBay is often compared to wanting to be like Amazon or Walmart. I did read the answer to that. How is the seller service when calling either of them? I think I know this answer, but curious for those that sell there. So I think Bearded Picker would probably be the best person to answer the Amazon question. Ed would be the better one to answer. I don't know. I haven't seen. Has he been here? Ed, Hustle and Flow, Hustle and Grow. That is.
Wow.
Every time I see
You're
his
all
name,
up in the rap world right now.
Well, I think of that movie, but Hustle and Grow will know a lot about the Walmart part of it. I
saw him earlier, but
yeah.
I may have been.
He might jump on now. Maybe if he's listening, working in the background. Patricia says, so a neutral is weighted more negative than if a buyer doesn't leave any feedback at all. It appears to be that way, at least for those sellers with the BBE policy that's going to be implemented, that whether it's a neutral or a negative, it's the same as an item not received. It's the same as an item not described. Any one of those counts as a ding, and you can't get more than one ding per transaction. So you might have all of those. It might be not described, didn't get there in time, and they leave you a negative or neutral. It's only one ding against you from that buyer.
It is so cold in here.
Duncan says, I like hearing John talk. Jenna, it helps me doze off. Wow.
Me too.
Jeff says, I did temp work doing night cleaning at the Symantec call center. I think that's Symantec is for like an antivirus, I think. In Eugene, Oregon, some years back. They were in two buildings next to each other, and it gave me an idea what eBay's call center was like.
Yeah.
But I'm sure much has changed. They've taken away the rep's ability, at least the overseas rep's ability, to really help sellers or anyone. Whereas if you get a U.S. rep, they have more ability to help.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beard says, I had to go get my wings out of the oven. Can you start over?
No.
You could be on delay. Hey, I'm on delay too. I'm delayed by about 45 minutes.
You're always delayed.
You're probably ahead of me.
Delayed.
One Foot Flipper says, I'm only at 97,000 for the year, but I barely sourced this year.
No, that's excellent.
That is good. There's
Yeah,
nothing
be
wrong with
proud
that.
of yourself.
Maya says, I don't know, maybe we don't need to be that worried about this BBE if it's ranking us compared to our peers. All eBay sellers get rude and scam buyers, so we all end up with strikes. No, that would make them come down harder. It's one of those mentalities where, well, 10% of these sellers are doing this, therefore we should punish everyone else. So that's sort of an easier mentality than to just deal with the 10% that are screwing up. Let's see. Kelly Surf Dude says January is usually my best month for sales. Restless Coyote says was at the post office today, and the gift card kiosk had eBay gift cards, but all were sold. Only one that was empty. That's good. That's really good.
That's really good. We like to see that. Go back up. Where are you going?
I'm just trying to get through these comments. Watch out, Jenna. John is going to have to give you an eBay gift card for your January birthday, and you want to spend it in his store.
Negative.
She will not. She will find the makeup store on eBay and spend it there.
Yes.
Steve McGuire
skincare
says, "Hi all, first time catching your live show. Well, awesome.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. What are you? Are you a race car driver? Awesome. Grumpy Granny says,
Grumpy Granny.
Yeah. Good morning, Boyd and girls. I haven't seen Boyd yet, so he must be lurking. John and Jenna.
Hello.
And Grumpy Granny might be making an appearance this evening on Beard's Live here in the next half an hour. So we're gonna try to wrap this up so we can get you guys over to his live stream in 30 minutes. I believe he's still in it.
Wrap it up
in
I know. 15.
I just doubled my promotion to 6.6%. Can't go much higher since they have nearly the same cost to ship as I charge for them. Yeah, you are limited as to how high you can go depending on how you're sourcing your item.
Yeah.
G. Gazara says, good to see you again. Thanks for the live video chats. No, we enjoy it. So thanks for being here. Grumpy Granny says, I finished doing different promotions for different categories because the types of books I sell don't need to be high, but jeans do, as that's a saturated market. Yeah. I mean, you can apply just a one-shot promotion across, but you're not going to maximize, your promoted, we call the ROAS, which we don't want to go into. It's not that big of a deal, but you want to get the most bang for your buck when you're using the promoted listings. One Foot Flipper says, I predict a huge number of sellers trying to sell 4,900 on 20 different platforms next year should make eBay better second half of the year. I don't think a lot of these sellers who aren't, because someone that's trying to do that isn't serious. So someone that's not serious is probably not even going to keep track. They're going to find out the hard way. Dragon Master's Fine says, morning. I wasn't recording today's thrifts, but I did record something to add to my next video, especially for you. Keep an eye out. That's for GG. Oh, Grumpy Grandma. Patricia says, I didn't even list vintage ornaments this year. Brian H says, tried to peel a label off a used box today, and it kicked my ass. I know you use the heat gun. Can you do a video on how to do that? I can. I know Beard. This shows you.
I do that every day.
This shows you, Scott, I'm actually a fan of your channel. I know that Scott, his Bearded Picker, did one a while back, at least a year ago, showing you how to use the heat gun. But it is going to save you time. It's going to save your package from being, when you peel off that sticker, it likes to peel off part of the packaging, and it makes your packaging just look like crap. Well, this kind of saves that. Tommy says, sorry, driving to ballet. Item not received is already a peer-to-peer measurement under seller performance, but not one that's dinged you, not one that you're dinged. I can't even speak.
Wow. Not
one that is counted against you with the same weighting as a negative feedback or an item not described. So I am confident that high item not received rates, and this telling me I got a return. I thought I had a return request. Oh. But your high item not received rates aren't really counted that way against you. In the algorithm, probably, right? But anytime you're going to weight something like that on the level of a negative feedback or an item not described, that's not good. Bearded Picker says, I had to end early last week. I was too high. Big Sky, sorry, I am late. What is BBE? Simply Bad Buyer Experience, that's the new program that overseas sellers, more specifically southwestern Asian countries, are going to be dealing with when they're trying to sell on US eBay.com. Patricia says, aim business end of heat gun at label, turn on heat gun label, and peel it off. Heat gun label and peel it off. Yeah, it's that simple.
It is super easy.
But sometimes,
but see, I use a box cutter. So I have the heat gun, I aim it at the sticker, and I have the box cutter, and I use it to flip the corner, and then I peel.
Yeah. And some of these stickers you can still hit it with a heat gun and it don't want to come off. It'll come off in pieces,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Amazon selling 99. The bad seller policy sounds great until the copy Amazon and have it run by bots and always hold sellers guilty until proven innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Policies like these sound good until they're implemented. Yes. And unfortunately, eBay is becoming known for implementing policies that look good on paper but are poorly implemented. And who suffers? It's the people who aren't even really
doing anything wrong.
Right, not doing anything wrong. We like, well, what did I do here? Noah Design says, my 2 cents, eBay can easily ding, cancel, suspend bad seller's account with their software with a few push of some buttons, instead putting out an obscured blanket policy. But I get why they have to. Mm-hmm. They have to so they can point to something and say, this is why we're now removing you as a seller on the platform, because it's creating all these people to leave the platform.
Yes, and we are not talking about Brazilian butt enhancements here. It's BBE.
JB Reseller says, I don't see Amazon and Walmart selling for parts, used items, make offer, etc. eBay needs to work within their lane. Yes. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Yeah. Yes, it's nice to say, oh, look at what Amazon's doing here. They're really doing well. But for what eBay does, there's a lot of things that they can't implement. It's just going to ruin their business. And I think they're trying too hard to be something that they're not.
They just need to stick to what they're good at and stay right there. Don't try to be anybody else but eBay.
Rated Forever said the issue I was talking about was that there is no combined shipping with eBay international shipping. Right. That's what they're implementing and they're fixing. But for when they first implemented it, someone wanted 2 of your items, they have to pay twice for shipping or
That's
shipping
stupid.
for each item. Consignment wares. There is no way to block unsafe international buyers because eBay lets them change the shipping address to the US to bypass the block on their country. Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's the crazy thing. But I think they're going to go by their registered address. They can maybe have a nexus in. We were looking at one listing where they had 99-cent cases. And we're like, well, this has to be someone from China, probably where they were from. We clicked on the listing and it said someplace in New York. There's no way someone that's shipping from New York is going to be able to ship it and make any money off that 99-cent iPhone 6 case. That's what it was.
iPhone 6.
It was an iPhone 6 case. Robert 292 says, had a buyer return a pair of shoes, had one offer in 5 days until received and refunded. Do they throttle your account during active returns? I don't know. eBay is not saying that. I do know that on returns that I receive, if I don't act within 24 hours, you can count.
Even less. I feel like as soon as you get the notification that the return has arrived, that I feel like it's like you got to do it right now, because that there was the one time just a couple weeks ago where he had let a return sit the entire weekend and didn't do it until Sunday night.
Yeah.
And our sales was so bad, but as soon as he did the return, our sales picked up again.
Could be a coincidence.
Could be a coincidence.
We're not trying to tell you guys that's what it is, but if you do something enough, receive enough returns, and you sit on them for a day or two, because eBay gives you 2 business days, you'll know. You'll know just over experience that look, I got to return today. As soon as we're done with the live stream, I'm getting that thing processed. Yes. Big Sky says, I am all for the bad buyers being booted. I shop eBay all the time to support my peers with great disappointment half the time. I receive a lot of crap, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's terrible. And that's so concerning, because you have all these sellers who do an amazing job at making sure that the customer experience is top notch, and you have these other sellers who just could give two shits about making the customer happy and satisfied.
I've had someone post in one of the comments that, well, what if the type of item you're selling would work well with a cereal box? I'm like, I don't think there's anything that you can sell unless you've maybe saved up a bunch of like cereal toys and now you're lotting them up, and a cute way to ship it would be in one cereal box, maybe. But even then, it's just your buyer's expecting more, and that's what it is. It doesn't matter what the seller thinks. It 100% matters about how you make that buyer feel when they receive that item.
Yeah, I'll never forget when we received an item in a diaper box that had residual diaper.
That was a return.
And it was, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's even doesn't have anything in it or on it.
Mm-hmm.
Diaper boxes just, I get their convenience sometimes if you've got a lot of them hanging around, but make an effort.
We got Brett here. How you doing,
Hi,
Brett? Late, but made it in. Sales have been great besides Tuesday. I figured after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everyone spent their cash. Had 12 items shipped today. Everyone got paid.
Tell Julie we said hi.
Yeah. Let's see. No one designs with big money and used dentures. I don't see how. Dragon Master finds is unfortunately there's no real protection against bad buyers, though.
That's true.
There isn't. You just got to block and move on and hope they don't make another account. 1 foot flipper. In the 90s, you would leave a buyer a negative, and then they would make 10 new accounts and snipe all your auctions and not pay in retaliation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the wild, wild west. So I'm happy that eBay implements regulation to make things a little bit more consistent. You don't want to go back to when, I know people hate a lot of the things that eBay's implemented, but you don't want to go back to the days when it was just a free-for-all. Patricia says, I cut my thumb with a box knife while packing today and used packing tape on it so I wouldn't do BBE by bleeding on the box.
Oh, no. That's terrible.
Oh, sorry that you had to.
Yeah, I hope you were able to get that patched up because those things hurt.
M. Miller, no relation, says, should I include a notice of delayed shipping during the holidays in the listing, or is it just common knowledge for buyers? I wouldn't. You could put in the item description, please be patient this time of year. Mail usually runs a little slower, but I would say only do that if you've encountered issues with maybe INRs. You receive a lot of people saying that you're not getting your items. I haven't seen a lot of problems with that so far with the stuff we've shipped out. So, look at what you're getting back from your buyers and act accordingly. But for me, I don't think there's a need to do that. Jovial Juggler says, shipped a pair of shoes to eBay's authentication department via FedEx 2 weeks ago. Took 12 days to get there. That's horrible.
Oh, my gosh. That's terrible.
Kelly says, I ordered a hoodie on Amazon and they mailed it to me in a clear poly bag with a label on it. Like, thanks for telling everyone what I ordered.
Exactly.
Is it
just so rude? Is
it because that they're so swamped with sales at
They're
Amazon?
They're just throwing them in packages and
winging it. Let's not regard, how it's packaged. Let's get it out.
Yeah. That's terrible.
And Patricia says Amazon seems to be really cutting back on outer boxes this year.
Yeah.
And that's hurting the eBay seller. Mm-hmm. When Amazon cuts back on the boxes, that really hurts us because we don't have any shipping supplies. No lie, I'll do that.
Yeah, we use Amazon boxes all the time.
Kent says, what about a junk in the trunk lot? There's a lot of people
There's a lot of people that could probably benefit from that.
Brian Ace says, one of my pet peeves is when a seller ships a product by slapping a shipping label on the product box and not putting it in the shipping box. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can get away with it. Like a lot of the larger boxes that we ship, let's say it's a vacuum cleaner. Well, if it's packed really good, we pack the item inside the box. Many times we'll just ship out that box without any problem. Yeah. Patricia says, I've been calling and complaining about the exposed Amazon deliveries, and they give me $5 to $10 each time as a courtesy or a free month of Prime.
Dang, I should have complained.
Well, what's the statute of limitations on that? Maybe. Patricia says, Clarence, you might say that eBay has been giving a BSE all year. You're not kidding. Brian H says, I noticed recently when buying on Amazon, they give you a choice to ship in Amazon box to be discreet. When they give that option, I definitely check the box. That's when if you all year long, you can say it's a gift.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the way you want to do it. Even if it's not a gift, you don't want people to know what it is, right?
Yeah.
And going back to this comment that Patricia said, the BSE all year long, I wonder if they implement a policy that's driven towards bad buyers, if they would call it a bad seller experience policy. That would be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be classic.
Jovial says, pro tip from experience for those of us who cut themselves while frankenboxing, clean the cut with rubbing alcohol, not peroxide. Ooh. Burns terrible for 3 to 5 seconds, then stops, heals much quicker.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a good tip. But
don't
that
cut
would
yourself.
Hurt like heck. I haven't cut myself with a box.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, oh boy, today's the day I'm going to cut myself with this damn razor blade. And it hasn't happened yet, knock on wood. So
speaking of, you need to change my blade.
Yes.
In mine.
Yeah. This is a honeydew thing.
Yes, he's the
This
blade,
is not
he's
rocket
the blade
science.
Changer. It doesn't need to be. I'm scared.
This is not rocket science.
I'm scared to do exactly that.
It's not rocket science.
I don't care.
Okay? It's not rockets. Watch me cut myself live on the show here. It's not rocket science. Okay. Just let it snap into place. Whoops, it won't snap into place.
Okay, see, this is why I don't.
Well, I'm not cutting nobody. It's not rocket science. You just let it go in and snap into place. And then
I understand. I know how to do it, but I don't want to do it. That's why I have you.
Jovial says, I normally keep alcohol wipes near my shipping station, but today was outdoor cutting zip ties in a box shipment.
Oh, gosh. That's awful.
Clarence says, USPS misscanned 10 plus shipments as delivered instead of accepted. Absolutely no support from eBay.
Wow.
That's horrible.
That's terrible.
I've seen it happen. It's happened before for us. No Bullshit says we should vote John on the board of eBay directors. He knows how to run the website better than they do. Well, I don't know about that. I can run their call center better than they do. I can tell you that for sure. Brett says, I always send, did you receive blank item and was everything okay with your purchase message once delivered on all orders? And I say any positive feedback on eBay is appreciated to remind them. I think that's just
it's a nice practice to get into, but
yeah,
I think it also too could be a little overwhelming in your process depending on your volume of shipping and sales.
But because as I sell a lot on Amazon, customer service is pretty good, although they outsource reps to other countries as well, but they do have a call me button and they call immediately. Hustle and Grow. Here's Ed. Walmart support is pretty much non-existent and Amazon is so-so. eBay, in my opinion, is better than both in most cases. And that's
that's not
sad.
Saying a whole lot.
Sunny says, yeah, it looks warm. I feel like I'm freezing.
No, it's freezing.
No.
Yes.
My
hands are ice cold.
Ford. It's Spilf Ford Pinto is in the house. Thanks, Richard, for being here. Yeah, everything's backwards. Spilf Ford Pinto.
Oh, you're saying okay.
Bearded Picker says, I'm not a savage. Can't use that giant heat gun like John. Get the small embossing tool, some Scotty peelers, and you're set. Yeah. That gun I have, that thing will cause a fire if you have it too hot.
It's so hot. I burnt my fingers before with it, but I won't use that other one. Those little things are too cheeky. They don't get hot enough. I was when we were for Thanksgiving, my sister had labels on all of the dishes that she just bought, serving dishes. And so I went into the bathroom to use her hair blow dryer to try to get the labels off. And that wasn't even, I was like, dang, I should have brought my heat gun.
Let's see. Grumpy Granny says, do you have an express post option in the U.S.? So, yeah, you do have express. That's a lot more expensive if you want to ship something express or overnight. But generally, you have your Ground Advantage. Then you have your Priority Mail, which is like 2 to 3 days on average from one side of the country to the other. And then if you really got to get it there, it's express, but that's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth says, I got socks in a clear bag from Amazon too.
Yeah.
We have Busy Girl that says, hi guys, glad to catch you live, listening while working.
Awesome.
AKA a busy girl.
Yes.
Good job. Richard says, buyer just opened another case on eBay, put it on hold until 12/11, shipped on 11/24.
That's annoying.
Yeah. Grumpy Granny says, "Oh, really, Lisa? We have it here, and it costs the buyer around an extra $4. It's a lot more than that here."
Yeah, a lot more.
JB Reseller says, "Seller, respond to the buyer within 2 days, or else buyer take your time returning it. We'll give you 230 days to return. Then seller must act within 2 minutes, or else."
Ain't
it's
that
the
the
email.
truth?
As soon as this package came, she got it. I got the message thinking it was a return request. It was, "Hey, you got it. We see you got it. Take care of it."
Yeah.
It's like, geez, man.
Yeah.
But you're right on that, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with this tip. Pro tip: super glue, crazy glue for cuts is where it's at. That's what you want to use.
Yeah, that's what you've done.
Yep. Vinyl Rob says, "I missed the eBay auto relisting question I asked earlier. Pros and cons of letting eBay auto relist as opposed to end sell similar." You can let it. You can do it. It's just gonna take another listing, just like an end sell similar. But for me, I like the idea that, and I'm not sure when that item switches over to the new 30-day period, if it has the new listing tag on it. I don't think it does. And it gives you just an opportunity to look over the listing, maybe make changes to it, end it, sell similar, get that 12-hour whatever plus boost that you get for a new item. Grumpy Granny says, "We're in lucky Australia, Brian H. We can tick a box when doing our post labels, and tracking down notifications are then sent to the buyers." Sounds like things are pretty smooth over
A
there.
little more organized.
Tommy says, "Letting eBay do it just buries your item even more. Each month you end, relist, start cycle over again." I agree with that. Maya did that with the tape cutter, except I was packing a white pair of pants. I had to go and run it through the wash. Ooh, hopefully it came out.
I hope it came out.
Or just,
They could be now tie-dyed.
Just, dye them red and say, "We're sending you a red pair, not a white pair." Robert says, "Personally, I use eBay chat. Seems to work for me." It works to an extent, but those people are the same as the level of reps that you get when you first speak to someone, say in the Philippines, and they just are able to answer your questions and do very basic things. Not funny. I'll look into that. Thanks. And Patricia, did I say rocket surgery? No, I didn't say that.
I don't know,
yeah.
maybe.
Patricia says, "I've gotten to know the eBay for biz reps on Instagram by name." Robert says, "You can get a rep and chat within 1 minute." You can, but again, it's just the level of...
It's just the level of competency is not...
Are they even going to understand what you're saying?
Quite there.
They're typing away, making notes in your account, or trying to do something for you. Are they even trying to handle the problem at hand?
Yeah.
Mike has an Amazon box hack. Turn box inside out, tape open edge together. Looks like new, unmarked box.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people like to use that for the USPS boxes, though.
Yes, that's true.
I've got a priority mailbox to be perfect, but I'm going to send it by, Ground Advantage. He'll know. Just flip it all inside out. Well, if you
thought about that every time you tell me it can't go.
You get a seller who's buying from you, that's no good. I mean, just don't do it.
I know I wouldn't do it, but believe me, the thought crossed my mind. We have a lot of those boxes.
There's a lot of people listening right now who would say, that's a good idea.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
It's not a good idea. Ken says, "Great live, guys. I have a great sales weekend. See you in the next live." Well, we've got a couple minutes to kill. Scott's got
to go to the restroom.
Scott can do that now.
And do all the things to get over to
thankfully, we're not in the restroom with Scott. So he can do all that now. And we'll hear from him in a few minutes. Patricia said, "The reps on Instagram are especially good." I haven't had a problem with Instagram like that. Mike says, "Thanks, Lisa. Great to see you too." And I guess you guys are ending the chat. Chat. So
you're like,
I've caught up. So
to wrap it up.
We are going to wrap this up because we're going to send you now over to the Bearded Picker channel. Now, I'm not going to send you there. I'm asking you to take the time when we're done here, go over to the Bearded Pickers channel, and let's continue the conversation. He's good for at least another couple hours. So if you want to work while you're listening to a live stream, let's go ahead and raid his channel. And who knows, maybe I'll even drop in there and say hi as well.
Link is in the chat.
Link is in the chat. So head on over there, guys. But, this whole BBE thing, I don't think we're going to be talking about it too much. We're going to put it to bed. But eBay can, within a minute, change the way you do business and levy different metrics that we thought were kind of benign, levy them against you if they want to. And this is just another example of that, and another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend. Go over to the Bearded Picker channel, check them out, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Oh, and check out the eBay Power Hour podcast launching at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. And until then, have a great one, guys.